Guys? Yes, we're back. Got another Generation 4 battle for you lot, and this one's the UU battle I had against Yus. Yeah, so at this point, this was our third match. Yus had beat me at Lil Cup, he had beat me at NU, and now it was like time to you know, go a bit try hard here, because I must be rusty or something. I can't win a goddamn game against him. So I bring a pretty good, solid looking team, a bit more of a serious team, and yeah, I'm just going to narrate accordingly to that. So he leads out with this Mill Tank, and I lead out with this Mismagius, and I'm like, alright, cool, let's just kind of scout what set he is. Can he touch me? Is he the scrappy set? And yeah, of course he's a scrappy set. Yus would run something like that. So it's the double edge Mill Tank. I don't know, I've never seen that before. So yeah, this is pretty offensive Mill Tank. I don't want to be staying in for this at all. So I'm just like, alright, well, I've seen what set it is. I'm just gonna get out, just gonna go into Rhyperior, because not only can I take this double edge pretty comfortably, but I can probably set up rocks nice and early. So I take this double edge. It kind of tickled me. Yeah, it didn't do too much. I see this life orb recoil. I'm like, god damn it, what set is this Mill Tank life orb? So I'm gonna set up my rocks. I don't have a problem doing that. So he brings in Yuxi, and I'm like, alright, well, you know, I'm not really afraid of this thing. Psychic's probably the most devastating thing it has, so I'm gonna stay in here, let you set up your rocks, and hit you with a Mega Horn. So I'm thinking this is gonna hurt. Normally these Yuxis tend to be pretty defensive, so it does exactly half, because after leftovers is gonna get a little bit over half. I'm like, yeah, damn, that thing's bulky, but regardless, I'm sitting pretty comfortably here, so I'm actually gonna stay in and go for another Mega Horn. I see no reason to start predicting. It's still quite early game. He goes for a U-turn and brings in Lantern. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this Lantern can take a lovely Mega Horn then, because yeah, it's not going to appreciate that. They're usually especially defensive. So this Mega Horn does over half, and I can tell he's just not enjoying this. So this Lantern now threatens me, and I'm thinking to myself, alright, well, he set up rocks. This gives me a perfect opportunity to go into Hitmontop, as well as I'm now especially defensive Hitmontop I've built around, so I can take pretty much whatever special hit he wants to throw at me. He goes for Ice Beam, so it's a non-stab move, and yeah, that tickled as well. That didn't do much, so I'm quite comfortable in here. I wanted to go for the Foresight, predicting a Ghost type to come in here, but because it's early game and he has shown me the Yuxi, I didn't risk it just yet, so I just went for the Rapid Spin. Good play on Yus's part, because he brings in the Ghost, and I'm like, god damn it. I knew you would, but again, it was just a complete wild prediction. He hadn't revealed it yet, so at this point he goes for a Substitute. I'm actually going to stay in. I'm not going to switch out, so I go for the Foresight, because I wanted to get rid of rocks. But seeing that he's subbed and now he's probably going to start setting up, I just kind of, I got to play around close combat and Sucker Punch. So he goes for a Calm Mind, and I'm not going to reveal the Sucker Punch just yet. I'm going to close combat a few times. I did pull up the calc, I think, around here, because I wanted to know how many times I can afford to let my defense stats drop before I can like get one hit KO'd. So he's at +1, I'm at -1. I still think I'm a 2-hit KO from here, or even 3-hit KO, because I'm quite especially defensive. So he goes for another Substitute, thinking maybe I would go for a Second Punch, but I kind of just hard spamming close combat at this point. I think I can use it like 3 times before I have to use Suckers. So that was like the second one. My defenses are dropping. I think I calced it. Still not a 1-hit KO. So I was like, alright, cool, I can afford to do another one. But he actually switches out, and this is what I predicted him to do last time, going to this Yuxi. So goes into this thing, I punch it, and yeah, it's not going to do too much. Very low health, so I actually do not want to stay in, because I do not want to take a Psychic. That's the last thing I want to be taking. So I'm going to switch out, go back into Mismagius, because I know Mismagius can probably take whatever. I kind of predicted it would just go for a U-turn anyway, because why not? So yeah, he went for a U-turn, and I thought, okay, well, let's see what comes in. And he goes to this Mill Tank again. I'm like, god damn it, why am I scared of a normal type? I don't want to be in on this thing. So I am actually thinking, alright, well, he's making some plays here, so maybe I can try get Mismagius to set up or something. So I go into Rhyperior, because I know I can take any hit he has to offer. He really ballsy play here. It's really smart. He goes for the Earthquake, and he actually predicts the incoming Rhyperior. Well, he didn't go for a normal type move, so that was a good play. It still doesn't do too much, because I got that solid rock and humongous HP stat. So I take it, and I actually play a double switch here, predicting something to come in like this Yuxi that I can set up on. I'll take the Yuxi, that's fine. Even if he wants to Psychic at this point, it's not going to kill me because Mismagius is quite especially defensive in the sense that he can take a hit or two, especially from a non-invested Yuxi. So I just go straight for the nasty plot. I don't bother setting up a sub or anything like that. I don't think he's going to T-Wave, anything of a sort. So goes for Psychic. I know I can take this, right? I've set up a nasty plot, but it actually crits me. It is what it is, no point in crying over it. Just gotta move on. That was devastating because I was at +2 and I knew I could start wreaking havoc against these Pokemon. So I bring in Houndour and Houndoom, and I go for the Dark Pulse. So I just finish this thing off. I'm not gonna go for a Pursuit in case it doesn't kill. I don't know, you know, this thing's bulky and it's not switching out, so I just went for a Dark Pulse, got a kill. So yeah, it's very unfortunate on Mismagius, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm gonna see this Donphan switch out into my Subseed Sceptile, which is not Subseed, it's actually Specs. He goes for an Earthquake, right? This part of the battle was actually quite funny. So I get hit by this Earthquake and it does humongous damage, and I'm like, okay, well, that was very powerful. That's a choice banded Donphan, I believe, right? So I'm in Overgrow range. I should have gone for the Leaf Storm here, but I actually went for the Energy Ball. And even though I'm in Overgrow, Energy Ball plus Specs, this does a lot of damage to this Arcanine. The exact same thing he did to me with the Donphan, and he's like, yep, you're definitely Specs. So we just found out something about each other there. I'm Specs, he's banded. So yeah, he goes into Arcanine. I have to switch because I know he's gonna go for that E-Speed. I know he has it. Every Arcanine has it. So he goes for that, and I go into Milotic to scare him with the Surf. But I'm not gonna go for the Surf because, you know, he's a Fire type and he probably sees that coming. So here I just make a little prediction. I go for the Toxic, and he actually goes for the Toxic as well. So we actually trade Toxics on this turn. So again, another ballsy play by Yus here, staying in on a Water type. So here I'm like, okay, well, we've traded Toxic. He's bound to switch out, right? He's not gonna stay in, is he? So what do I do here? I can't remember. I think I switch out, and yeah, I go into Hitmontop because it not only gives me the opportunity to get rid of the rocks, but I also get an Intimidate and see what wants to come in. He actually stays in and goes for the Morning Sun. Like, what is Yus doing here? The ball's on Yus right now, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I didn't think he would stay in, but it paid off, I guess. He's back at full. But this does give me an opportunity to get rid of rocks. This time I didn't think he would do the obvious, you know, going to a Ghost type. He's seen me use Foresight, but I still played it very safe because I didn't see what could really threaten Hitmontop at this point. So I went for Foresight on this Donphan, pretty pointless, but at least I know now that I can just probably go for the Rapid Spin next turn, which is what I do. I get rid of the rocks, and then he goes for this Choice Banded Earthquake, and maybe I should have, I was hoping to get Intimidate on this thing the turn before if Yus had switched out because his Arcanine was faster. So without Intimidate, this Choice Band nearly rips through Hitmontop, and I'm like, god damn, but I still need to preserve that thing because he's got a Miltank. So I pull all that thing back, I go into Milotic. I don't mind taking an Earthquake because he's activated my Marvel Scale ability because he's poisoned me. And yeah, that still does a huge chunk, man. Go easy, Yus, man. These big damage coming from this Donphan here. So I'll go for a Recover because I'm thinking, why would you stay in on a Surf? And again, Yus's balls are just growing even bigger because he's just getting really ballsy with these plays. They're all paying off as well, but yeah, I know I can at least take one more because Milotic is bulky, but I don't want to keep doing this because, you know, poison. So I'm thinking, you know what, I'm gonna die. So I actually predicted him to switch out here because he probably must have thought, yeah, now I'm pressured to attack, right? I'm getting lower and lower. He stays in. Good play, I guess, but at least I got the Toxic off. At least it was something, even if it was a Surf or not. So that thing's poisoned, so gradually it's gonna die since it doesn't have leftovers, right? So I go into Sceptile, and I know whatever wants to take a Overgrow Energy Ball this turn, you know, it's gonna hurt. I don't bother with the Leaf Storm just in case, so I go for the Energy Ball Overgrow. It's gonna easily KO this Mismagius. So he's lost the Mismagius. So that's awesome, and I'm gonna keep Sceptile because of the Lantern. So he brings in this thing. I know I don't want to take a hit. I'm not even gonna risk it. You know, he's got the E-Speed. I know he has the E-Speed. So I'm gonna switch out, go into Hitmontop and get an Intimidate and see what he wants to do. And yeah, he actually plays a double switch. Really good play there. So he goes into Lantern. But at the same time, I'm okay with that. That's fine by me. So I know I'm faster. So I'm just gonna go for the close combat. I don't really have anything else to do. I can hit this lantern, probably get the KO. He goes into mill tank, and that's even better for me. I can just get rid of this thing once and for all. So get a close combat off on this thing, and yeah, awesome. So he's one Pokemon down, and I'm just gonna see what he's gonna throw in here. So yeah, after that he goes back into Donphan, and I'm just like, alright, cool, I'm just gonna stay in because I don't think Hitmontop really has a purpose anymore in this battle. He goes for Ice Shard, that's all awesome, so I know he's locked into that, so I can play around that. And I'm thinking, alright, Ice Shard, so I'm just going to Hound him because I know I can take one of those. And I'm just going to hit something with a Dark Pulse, wherever he wants to bring in. So brings in Lantern, and that's just completely fine by me. Gets hit by a Dark Pulse, dies. And he's pretty much down to, he's Arcanine and he's Donphan, right? So I know at this point something's going to come in to scare me out. It's going to be the Arcanine. I know at this point he's really pressured into attacking me because he can't afford to heal at this point. So I know the E-Speed's come in. I'm looking really good on my side, so I'm not even going to risk taking this E-Speed. Even if it crits, I just don't want to risk it. You know, I can just play safe because, you know, I've put a lot of pressure on him at this point. So I go into Rhyperior, take the E-Speed very nicely. I know for a fact he's not going to heal on me. He can't afford to heal on me. I'm just going to hit him with an Earthquake if he does. So he switches out here and he goes into his Donphan. And yeah, his Donphan's going to have to take it. Donphan's a very good counter to Rhyperior, so it's still good that he's got that thing. But at the same time, he's poisoned, right? So he doesn't want to, you know, yeah, he doesn't really appreciate taking that right now. And after poison, he actually lives miraculously. So I know something on my side is going to have to take an Earthquake or an Ice Shard. So I go into Sceptile because Sceptile served its purpose. That Lantern's dead. So I no longer need Sceptile, so I'm just going to use it as a safe switch. And at the same time, poison damage is going to kill off this Donphan. So there's a double down here, and I know his last Pokemon's Arcanine. So at this point, I can just risk if he wants to crit me or not. So I actually go into Hound him, and yeah, just finish it off and see what happens. So after Stealth Rock, yeah, it's going to do a huge chunk, and then even if he did survive, this next turn he's going to die to poison. So he's pressured to use an attack. Yeah, there's not much he can do about it. So even if this crits me, it's all good on my end because yeah, he's going to die to Toxic. But I live and I finish off the game on a hidden power. What was this? Rock? I think it was Rock. Stuck it on last minute. End the game on a crit as well. So awesome game. I finally won one. Right? It took this long. Now, but Yus has been playing really good, so I've been enjoying these matches. Thanks again, Yus, for the battle, and see you a lot next time in the OU battle.